Since 1964, the Sports Car Club of America's National Championship Runoffs has been the single most important amateur auto race in the nation. This weekend, almost 600 competitors will fight for a medal in what has been called the Olympics of auto racing. This is where professional racing careers are launched. This is where legacies are born. This is the SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Garmin Verb.
All right, welcome back live to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, Lexington, Ohio. Final event of the 2016 SCCA National Championship Runoffs. About set to drop the curtain on another great Runoffs weekend. GT1 about to come out and watch as we go 50 miles to settle the championship in the some of the fastest cars in the place. No question about it. Lap time's about the same as what we just saw, maybe just a tick quicker, but some great drivers and cars will be in the fight here today. Cliff Eben will have the pole in his McMahon Group Ford Mustang. He'll start out front out of Freedom, Wisconsin. Michael Lewis from Escondido, California, in his Goodyear Jaguar XKR will line up second. A couple of longtime Trans Am competitors. Ryan McManus will start third in the 07. That's a Corvette. Dave Rouleau from Heartland, Wisconsin, a part-time Trans Am competitor in his Corvette. Todd Peterson from Boulder, Colorado, in the Peterson Machining Mustang, the 2-car. Kenneth Davis from Escondido, California, in his Chevrolet Corvette, the DavisStone.com entry. And Jeff Hinkle from Destin, Florida, in his Net Depot Dodge Challenger SRT bodied car. That will be your field. 7 cars strong, and the field about ready to roll out and get going here for our final battle of the day. Your Garmin Verb Fast Lap here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, down into turn number 1.
We call it the Garmin Verb Fast Lap because in GT1, these cars are quick when they're coming down through. You see the lateral G-loads. Some great data provided by our Garmin Verb Lap. Ryan McManus on board with his car into the keyhole, turn number 2. Feel that drop off, get the power back on this big thing, and you'll see these big monster V8s open up down this straightaway here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
McManus will start third in that Corvette. That is the 07 car. These Trans Am type cars capable of about $180 or so down the straightaway here into turn 4.
Yeah, 168 just here in one of the practice sessions. You see the elevation changes here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, all provided by that Garmin Verb. Come down here to turn number 6, hard on the brakes. You get back to the right, enter this double apex, little quick left-hander here, and then a right turn into turn number 9. Let the car breathe out a little bit, turn back into turn number 10, over the jump, come down the hill. The track just falls from you right there underneath the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course bridge into Thunder Valley as you approach the carousel. Quick little left-hander here, set up. You can kind of go right into the middle of the track of the carousel, start bringing it down. We get this long apex turn number 11, then down onto turn number 12, off into the front stretch to complete 1 lap in the Garmin Verb.
So the GT1 field coming off the pre-grid, and it should be a good battle, at least up front. Eben in that 36 car, the Stump Ford Mustang. He has won a Trans Am round this season, just won at Road America a few weeks ago. And alongside him, Mike Lewis in his Jag that he's had for many years now. But Mike was a regular Trans Am competitor in that car not many years back. Has won runoffs competitions in that car several times out of the San Diego, California area. Hayward Wagner as we get set for the last race of the weekend, my friend.
Wrapping it up this year with the ground pounders. And guys, I just want to remind you, these guys haven't been on track since Thursday afternoon. It's been 3 long days of waiting their turn. It's hotter now, and there's a lot more rubber on the surface now than the last time these guys were out. It's going to make for a tricky first couple of laps.
And Hayward, let me ask you this. With that rubber on the racetrack, and it's not the same kind of rubber at all, is it? Is that going to be a problem for these cars? Yeah, we'll try to get back and check in with Hayward on that. Jeff, what's your opinion of that? I mean, all the different classes, a lot of times you hear in pro racing, guys will say, well, it's, you know, the rubber's not compatible. What we're using, what's already down on the track from another class of cars. Here you've got so many different brands of tire being used and, you know, all kinds of configurations.
Well, we've had over 600 entries here. So if that can tell you how many different tire combinations and rubber combinations are down, let's get it back from Hayward to see if he's got his take on that.
Yeah, guys, I think that the biggest factor is the last class out was a P2 class that was using a similar style of tire. So if there was anything from T1 that went down with the DOT radial tire, they probably got picked up by the Bias-Ply Slicks that was running at P1, or P2. So I expect it to be pretty consistent for these guys, but still, it's been a long time since they were on the surface.
No question about that. You look at your 7-car field here. Final race of the weekend. Trans Am type machinery, GT1 is the classification. There's Evan in his Mustang, the 36. Lewis in the 12 car, starting alongside McManus in the 07, who took us for our Garmin Verb Fast Lap. And Dave Rulo in the 31, who runs some Trans Am events with that machine. He'll start in the 4th position. That's a new body style on that car. Todd Peterson, Ken Davis, and Jeff Hinkle. The rest of the 3-car field. There's the 31 of Rulo in the Corvette C7 body car.
One of the few classes that actually rumble or announce booth as they come by. So
yeah.
This is always the class that I loved watching when I was growing up in San Francisco region at SCCA, working timing and scoring, and watching Frank Emmett and his Corvette, the guy that started Supercuts, who's always racing there in NorCal, and you always, anywhere else I would go play, go mess around, go get in trouble, do whatever I needed to do. But when the GT1 cars came out on the track, I always got to a fence to watch them.
Always worth watching, no question about it. This is how I got interested in sports car racing when I was a kid in high school in Connecticut near Lime Rock, where I grew up. Went to see a Trans Am 1970, a long time ago, to see Mark Donahue and Parnelli Jones. I thought, man, they're racing in my backyard. We were oval track racers. And my dad never really understood it, never really got into it, but boy, I was hooked from the get-go when I saw those guys at Lime Rock. So great to see these cars. The same theory holds. Pony cars with big motors, and you just throw them around. Gas it and throw them around.
Purpose-built race cars as well. You start from a clean sheet of paper, build that chassis up, put a big motor in it. A lot of sequential transmissions now. They've evolved over the years in the GT1 category. Some of these motors well over 1,000 horsepower now. And with Michael Lewis, you saw him there sitting in second place, just touching the 200-mile-an-hour barrier at Daytona last year at the SCCA runoffs. So that tells you the speed of these cars.
Evan in that brand-new body-styled Mustang, one of his stump-forward creations there. In the 36 car. He has been stout, has been the Trans Am points leader for a good part of this season in pro racing. Michael Lewis with a lot of Trans Am history in his camp as well on his resume. Lining up alongside Lewis, has won this category many times down through the years. So we'll see how this one plays out today. Rulo on the outside of row number 2. Keep your eye on that 31. Ryan McManus in the 07 car. Peterson, Davis, Hinkle, and we'll see how it goes the rest of the way home. Mark Bowden scheduled to start in the back. Green flag in the air. We've got 7 cars. Bowden not answering the call, and Lewis on the outside of Eben into turn 4.
He'll have that advantage as he comes up into Madness. You see a little bit of a touch there on the top of the hill. Another bump as they come down the hill there, but that's always can happen when you're on the outside. You can carry that momentum up into Madness as Lewis did and gets the lead.
Mike Lewis probably thinking, hey, if I'm going to win this thing, I better get my Cliff Eben on the start, and he starts to open up a couple of car length lead here. Eben on the inside as they come to Thunder Valley on lap number 1.
Eben was trying to cut himself to the inside there. Not a lot of traction. You saw it step out a little bit. Michael Lewis doing a good job just making that Jaguar a little bit wider, not giving him a shot out of turn number 10.
McManus 3rd in the 07, Rulo 4th in the 31. This is your lead battle. Lewis in the 12, Eben in the 36.
A lot of these cars all sequential transmission now versus the old square cut dog boxes they used to run, or the Jericho transmission. So a lot of technology in these GT1 cars.
Absolutely true. Even though the chassis configuration hasn't changed much, and you've got some chassis that have been around a long time. If I'm not mistaken, the 12 car of Lewis, a Rocket Sport chassis that's been around for a long time.
Old Paul Giannolozzi chassis that he's running there, and you see a big slide out of there, but just kept his foot in it to get the run down the straightaway.
Even though a newly constructed Tony Ave car out of North Carolina with that brand new Mustang body working, Cliff has made himself into a very capable Trans Am racer.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous body, that Mustang. They have the new Camaro body as well. That brand new C7 Corvette body that we've seen campaign on the Trans Am series, and then GT1 level here in the SCCA Club Racing. Just the technology still, even to this day in the GT1, still coming into club racing and into the pro ring.
David Rulo back there in 4th spot in the 31. That's the C7 Corvette bodied car. That's a Jim Durhag creation. As we watch the 12 of Lewis and the 36 of Eben nose to tail here. Headed back to the carousel on lap number 2. Eben can take his time here, I think. As long as he stays close to Lewis, I think he'll certainly have an opportunity all day long. For me, the question mark is, can Lewis stay out front here?
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like Eben is trying to see where he's quicker. He's definitely quicker on the backside of the section. I think they're pretty even down the straightaways. So we'll see if the draft can play into Eben as he tries to make the nose here onto the inside of the keyhole. Don't think he can make that pass happen, but if it's going to happen, I got to think it's going to happen on the backside of the track. You'll see as they start entering turn number 8, 9, and 10, Eben really closes that door. And no help there as he drops a couple wheels off there on the exit. That can also knock the alignment off and then hurt the handling on that car.
Can't afford to do that. I mean, these cars are fast enough that, one mistake like that, Michael Lewis, a very capable driver, you certainly don't want to give that kind of advantage to a guy like Michael Lewis.
Come down the hill here, put the accelerator down into turn number 6. Just left foot brake it a little bit, get it to turn, come underneath that Honda bridge. Over to turn number 7 into number 8, number 9 right here. You let the car swing out a little bit, then start bringing it back down. Turn the corner, count to 3. Then you know where to turn in and go back underneath into Thunder Valley.
Michael Lewis won 3 of these championships in a row in 2010, 11, and 12, and again last year in 2015. 2014, he was the pole sitter out of Laguna Seca. Had a transmission problem, never saw the green flag, was not able to defend his title or win his title back. Kyle Kelly winning that year. Cliff Evans won it a couple of times, 09 and 13. So you've got 2 past national champions running 1-2 right here.
Well, I say as you come down through turn number 10, you count to 3, because I'm used to driving a lot slower cars than these GT1 cars. You might only count to 1 in a GT1 car. Is a little lock up there for that Dodge Challenger SRT from Jeffrey Hinkle, a little different chassis car there.
Yeah, Hinkle's car, didn't get a close look at that car. Don't know if that's a full-on Trans Am GT1 type car, or if that's a Trans Am 2 car that maybe has a bigger motor and tire package. Kind of looks like a TA2 car. From where we sit, the 2 car, that's an Ave-built car. That's a full-on Trans Am car being driven by Todd Peterson. And a car that has raced in Trans Am just this season.
Right by him, the Corvette, Kenneth Davis, doing a good job as well back there. And that's, you can see the roll cage and the windshield of that car. Some heavy cage tube. And you have to have that with the power these cars are going and as fast as they're going. But all these drivers doing a superb job here this weekend with these high horsepower GT1 cars.
Up front, it is still Lewis and Eben battling it out. Eben a little quicker on lap number 3, a 124.72. Lewis's quick lap, a 124.77. Eben about 2.5 tenths behind Lewis, though, as they fight it out for the top spot, and they have opened up a couple of seconds over Ryan McManus. Top 2 out of the final corner here. Working lap number 4, and Eben takes a look to the inside, going into 1.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to rattle Michael Lewis by putting the nose in on side of him. He's a longtime competitor there. I don't think he's going to really get jolted that much, but Eben trying everything he can to see if he can make that move or maybe get on the inside, or if Lewis just steps out a little bit. A lot of debris there when Hinkle ran off in the inside of turn number 2, so you got to watch out for that as you try to put the power down to go down the straightaway here at Mid-Ohio.
These cars get tire temperatures up quickly. They're heavy enough, and they certainly put out enough horsepower, a lot of lateral force. Eben takes a look inside into 4. He was able to stay in the lead. See if Eben can do something here with the over and under as they come to the S's.
This is where he is a little bit better on the backside of the track in the handling department. So I got to think that Mustang's a little bit better than that Jaguar right now on the handling part as they come down here through turn number 9.
Lewis in the black Jaguar, Eben in the white Mustang. Nose to tail for the lead. Eben wiggles a little there, cresting the hill.
That delicate balance act to put the power down and still have steering control, make sure it grips and sticks, and try to find that edge.
But unlike some of the cars we've been watching here today, Jeff Lepper, you can steer these cars with the throttle. I mean, these cars definitely have enough power to do that.
Oh, very easily. Yeah, I got a chance to drive one at Sonoma, and it was a totally different driving style when you come down through the corner when you're just setting it up for it. If you're off just a little bit, just put your foot down a little bit, and it'll put you right back where you need to be. Or take you where you don't need to be. Yeah. One of the two.
Got to measure that before you plant your foot, no doubt about it. But it does have that level of power. There's no question. Lewis out in front into the keyhole. Eben in second. About a 6-car length gap right there. You can see the amount of cars we've had on the racetrack over the last 6 days, 7 days, 4 days of qualifying, 3 days of racing. in the keyhole now. Looks like a little bit of the pavement starting to come up there. Looks like we've got a few chunks missing from the surface.
More of the sealer that they put on the track over there. It's a little concrete on the inside. They patched the track here. Of course, harsh winters in Ohio. You come back, the asphalt starts to take a toll. And it's got repaved a little while ago, so it might be due for that again. As you see, there's some definite cracks showing there, but just down there in turn 2, a lot of bumps, and there's a big bump in the carousel now that a lot of drivers are talking about, especially in our formula categories. Don't think it's affecting our GT1 cars too much.
Hinkle in the 9, the 64 is Ken Davis. They are 6th and 7th. And they're hanging right in there, yeah.
Yeah, Peterson able to get around Hinkle for that 5th place now as he starts to pull away for that battle for 5th.
And that was one of those cases where I think Peterson definitely was being held up by Hinkle. Hinkle struggling with that car just a bit. Peterson in the 2 car in 5th spot, and he's within hailing distance of David Rouleau. He's about 8 seconds back, but he's got time to catch him, certainly. Still early in the going here in GT1, 6 laps on the board. And there's Peterson in the 2 car.
Got a lot of debris on that front bumper. Not sure if he dropped some wheels off or got in the grass there, but going to have to start watching that. These cars are very, very temperamental on the engine temperatures. Of course, the big V8 running 1,000 horsepower generate enough heat as it is. You start getting stuff on the debris on that front grille. It's really going to affect it.
Body style on that Mustang from the late 90s, very much the body style that Tommy Kendall used in his Trans Am glory days. Don't know the exact history of that car. I know Tony Abe's group brought that car here for Peterson this weekend. Little oil smoke showing there out of the right side headers.
Yeah, not sure if that was smoke there or a tire rub coming off the inside, but if that is oil smoke, it could be because of that debris in the front. Car's starting to get warm.
Peterson down into the corner. Car probably would be eligible for vintage competition, at least based on the body style. Peterson running in 5th position. Lewis and Evans still 1-2 up front. They're about 3.5 seconds here ahead of Ryan McManus in the 07. McManus doing a nice job in that car. Not familiar with McManus, but in a car that is a terrific looking Corvette, a couple of years old. Very nicely done here. He's performing nicely in the car so far.
Reminds me of the paint job that old Randy Ruhlman used to have on his GT1 Corvette Trans Am car. So I got the chance to watch Randy growing up. Started off in the Corvette Challenge Series and moved his way into Trans Am. So
yes, he did.
Good family friend of Randy, and good to see the paint scheme still alive racing here with McManus on the side.
Well, you might be onto something here. Randy now out of North Carolina, but I believe back in the day he was from Ohio originally, if memory serves. Ryan McManus out of Westfield Center, Ohio. The McManus Agency Goodyear-tired Corvette. Right now with a podium spot within his grasp. But 124.7 his best lap, but not far off the pace set by Eben and Lewis.
And you saw during that Garmin Verb lap how fast he was in this Corvette. So doing a good job with that podium space.
So McManus down into the S's here. 3rd place runner. The 4th spot, Dave Rouleau in the 31. With that newer Corvette bodywork.
Yeah, like you said earlier, Rick, one of those Durhag chassis and body cars for racing in the Trans Am Series. Got a few cars over there running.
Yeah, Jim certainly does. Of course, Simon Gregg, his primary driver, has a Trans Am victory this season. Former champion of the series, son of Peter Gregg. With the front straightaway, there's Rouleau. You see the Trans Am logo on the windshield of that car. Lewis, as we mentioned, leading the race, longtime Trans Am competitor. Doesn't run the series any longer, but had a lot of success in Trans Am over the years. Last Trans Am car, Mike's ride here in GT1. There's Eben right behind him in the 36.
Well, Ryan McManus making his 7th start in the SCCA runoffs. His best finish is 5th, so doing a good job there. Looking for his first podium here at the runoffs.
Car's running 170 miles an hour down the straightaway here through the kink between the keyhole and turn 4. Good crowd of fans still on hand late on a Sunday afternoon. Final racing of the 2016 SCCA National Championship Runoffs. It's been a fantastic couple of days for us. Always love this event. Look forward to it every year on our calendar. Looking forward to Indianapolis Motor Speedway in 2017. I'll get to cross one off my bucket list. Always wanted to call a race at Indy. All the places I've been to call races around the world, never had a chance to do that, but looks like we'll have the opportunity a year from now. Can't wait to get there.
So Cliff Eben is really starting to
Yes,
pressure
he
Lewis
is.
now. Looking on the outside here, see if he can pull the old over-under or just stick the nose there on that final corner coming on the straightaway. He does not do it, but looking really racy here about halfway through. 9 laps just completed.
Down into 1. Eben may be able to get it done. No, Lewis able to come around and close the door on the outside. That might have killed Eben's exit speed out of turn 1.
It really did when you see the gaps that he was able to create. Comes and closes that gap back down into the braking zone, though, in that Ford Mustang. As see who's got the engine and the traction coming off the corner. And that's a lot of the settings you can do on this car. You can adjust the shocks, you can adjust the sway bar, the springs to try to get that forward grip to get off these corners without sacrificing some of the handling down through the road course part.
Yeah, the physics of these cars are very impressive. You just watch what they're able to do with the horsepower and with the tires, and knowing that, you know, this is a front engine rear drive car. It's maybe not the optimal platform if you were going to design something from the ground up without worrying about rules, but the history of Trans Am incredible. The series wrapping up its 50th season this year, a couple of races to go. The series at VIR over the weekend, and some great racing over there, I know. And these cars, and Cliff Eben going back and forth between the two events because he was the Trans Am points leader. Did not have a good day, as I'm told, yesterday at VIR, but Cliff with a guy has shot at the championship this year. Lewis still your leader. Eben second. Cliff Eben takes another run at Michael Lewis here in the carousel. Lewis out of the final corner. He's led all the way so far. 10 laps up on the board. 13 to go in GT1 as these two cars drive off into the sunset. Big lead over the third place entry of McManus, who's now 8 seconds behind.
I just love listening to those engines that come down here, and you hear them bopping the engines down, flames coming out of the side pipes on these cars. Just amazing works of machinery, like you said, Rick, and one of our favorite category cars. And sad to see it end here at the SCCA Runoffs, the 53rd running here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We'll see if Cliff Eben, Michael Lewis has had it from the start. He made the pass right here on the outside coming into turn number 4 over Cliff Eben.
Running 1 and 2. Lewis and Eben down to pit road. Hayward Wagner.
Guys, I'm with the crew for Mike Lewis. What are you telling your guy on the radio right now?
He's doing a great job and keep digging. Gets off the corner better than Cliff on every corner, so I keep telling him to keep digging. So I think we got this.
Is he telling you anything back?
Nope, just driving hard.
You think you can hold him off for 12 more laps?
Absolutely.
All right.
That's the word, but Eben is up alongside. Eben just getting by, and Lewis, there's contact, and Lewis goes around. Hard racing up through Thunder Valley. Lewis gasses it and gets back on the racetrack, and the Autocon team not happy with what just happened there. Michael Lewis, Cliff Eben, good battle side by side. Lewis gets turned, and Eben goes off by himself with the lead. Take a look at it here, coming up through Thunder Valley. Eben had gotten the lead, and Lewis kind of leaned on him there coming up the hill.
Yeah, I don't think Lewis meant to do that. I think he just hit a little bit of that curb there on the inside, got a little too close, made some contact, and Lewis did everything he could to stay off of him, and ultimately I think he spun himself trying to stay off of Eben.
Michael Lewis's chance at the championship, I don't hope he wasn't jinxed there by a pit road interview. Now that puts him within the grasp of Ryan McManus for second spot. Lewis puts his head down, gets it back on the racetrack, and resumes the chase here, but he's got McManus and Rulo not far behind. Third and fourth closing in on the 12 car.
We go back and look at the old history books and records here for GT1, and Michael Lewis's name is on there 4 times, sitting back in second place, but he's joined by a lot of great drivers there, all the way back to Paul Newman, Jim Fitzgerald, Scott Sharp. Some great names in our GT1 categories.
Absolutely. Michael Lewis, it does not appear, will pick up another championship and go back-to-back this year in GT1. This one in the hands of Cliff Eben now, who with that spin by Lewis is 8 seconds to the good over the second-place car. It was a great battle for the first, 10 laps before they got together in Thunder Valley, and Eben emerges with the lead. We'll see now if McManus can take advantage here and close in for second.
Got to look and see if there's any damage to Michael Lewis's car as well, or even Eben's car there. You know, you got that wheel-to-wheel contact. You got to be afraid of cutting down one of these big race slicks.
Dave Rulo back there in fourth in the Corvette. Doesn't look like the 12 car suffered any real damage, so good for Michael Lewis that he was able to get the car pointed in the right direction, gas it, never stall it. Of course, he's been doing this for a very long time at a very high level. So experience does teach you how to play those games and how to do those things in the race car, and Lewis able to keep his car pointed in the right direction ultimately, although losing a ton of ground to Cliff Eben here.
Only has a second-half lead over McManus. You see that just right there in that back shot. So whatever he was able to get it back underway, has to gather it back up as well and start focusing just to stay in front of McManus as well.
It's up onto over the jump turn and up through Thunder Valley here. This is where he came to grief a couple of laps ago with Cliff Eben. The carousel, your second place runner.
Cliff Eben, 8.6 seconds was the lead last time by. We'll see as Lewis crosses the stripe how much he was able to pull that away, and brings it to 9 seconds, so about 0.4 of a second he picked up that lap. So it's one of those, we thought about it before, if Cliff could get ahead of him. Unfortunately, not the circumstances he wanted to get ahead of him, but he was able to get ahead of him and pull away a little bit.
Talked about Lewis running this car in Trans Am. Don't know the exact vintage of that bodywork, but of course Jaguar doesn't make that body style at all anymore. And pro racing, Trans Am going to a rule, they've had it on the books, they're going to start to enforce it here next season, that you've got to have a car no older than 5 years in terms of body style. So that's going to change the mix quite a bit in Trans Am. We've got some cars that have been running like this 07, the older Corvettes, like the older Mustang of Todd Peterson, the 2 car that, as I said, the body style goes back into the late 90s. Those cars won't be eligible for Trans Am next year. Now, Rouleau's in fine shape with that Corvette. Rouleau starting to close in here on McManus. It's about 10 car lengths back, just a 10th and a half or so off the pace time-wise.
That is 5 years from when that body style ends. So if they make that chassis till 2018 or so, then it would be good till 2023. So this Corvette, like you said, should last for a little bit as they're still making that C7 Corvette. It just it costs a little bit of money, but you want to stay with the times and manufacturer involvement. They don't want to be supporting cars that are 20 years old or look 20 years old, so want to up with that technology, and I think it's a good move on Trans Am's part.
Can't argue with it, really. And, in the times when Trans Am struggled, of course, Trans Am went away for a year. Back around 2009, 2010, came back as a pro racing category, but not as a full pro racing series until 2010, when Tony Avi and Jim Durhag took the series over and since have expanded it, created the Trans Am Race Company, which owns and manages the series now. Here's the battle for third position. McManus and Rouleau nose to tail now down the long straightaway through the kink.
Rouleau has run him down now for that battle for third as McManus protects to the inside. Rouleau's just going to breathe a little bit, get a good arch through here, and stay right with him. He's got the faster car. He just has to pick his point where he wants to get around him.
And the struggle that we've seen so many drivers have all weekend long, being held up by a slower car, it's so hard to pass here at Mid-Ohio. You've got to be really superior in one part of the racetrack.
Or you got to make that move, or the guy in front of you has to make that mistake. So right now, Rouleau's going to try to pick his point. He needs to just keep running his line. He did a good job running down McManus, and now that gap pulled away a little bit, just about 2-3 car lengths as they come here into the carousel.
And for those of you not able to see timing and scoring at home, it's still Eben out in front over Michael Lewis. The gap between those two about 8.9 seconds this time by as the third and fourth place cars come over the finish line here. Then it's another 5 seconds or so back to this third battle between McManus and Rouleau. 8 laps remaining today. 8 laps remaining this year in the SCCA runoffs. Hard to believe.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how many laps we've done. 28 categories, 23 laps or 40 minutes. It's been a lot of racing here at the 53rd annual SCCA runoffs, but some of the best right now for this battle for third in GT1 with McManus and Rouleau.
Well, think about it this way. A little over 50 miles, 28 races overall this weekend. It's about 1,400 miles of racing since we got going on Friday.
It's a good run there as McManus protects to the inside once again. Rouleau just making his line that he needs to do. Keeps those tires nice and cool. Debris free, not running offline. Taking an interesting there out of madness, trying to get a good run through turn number 6 though.
You can change your line on entry to give you a little different line on exit and maybe make a move. If you think you're truly faster and can get off the mark, get off the corner better. Now Rulo, though, starting to drop back a little bit. McManus able to find a little something here and stretch it out.
And it could be possible that Rulo drove the tires off the car trying to catch him and doesn't quite have enough to get back around him, or McManus was just conserving and decided to turn that wick up a little bit, trying to look at the different lap times that we saw, and they're both lapping about the same lap times that they were. McManus has dropped back a little bit from his earlier lap times, but Rulo still on the charge.
7 laps to go to settle this battle for third position, the final podium spot here of the weekend in GT1 in this case. Ryan McManus in the 07 car, Dave Rulo in the white 31. 2 Chevrolet Corvettes. McManus goes way wide. Gets way up in the marbles. That opens the door for Rulo on the inside. They're drag racing here on the long straightaway. Rulo's got him.
Yeah, Rulo able to make that pass by that run that he got out of there. Just a big mistake in the braking zone by McManus, and he's going to push him right to the outside and head down to the braking zone. Can McManus stick it to the outside? No. He's going to have to go back behind Rulo. New third place.
Veteran move by Rulo as he got to the kink there. He didn't run McManus out of road, but moved him out wide to slow him down.
Yeah, just have to make him check up a little bit as Cliff Evans sets the fastest race lap last time by at a 1:22.939. Not letting up there, still pushing that 9.5 second gap back to Lewis now.
I don't want to jinx Cliff Evans. I like Cliff a lot. He's a capable competitor, a veteran guy who's been doing this for a very long time, first in club racing and then in pro racing. Still comes back and runs these events, enough amateur races to qualify for the runoffs here. Loves this place, I know. He's had some bad luck a couple of times this year in Trans Am. Has won a couple of times now, but has had a couple of times when he was a few laps away from victory and had things go south on him. So we'll see if he can close the deal. Now, this race about half the distance of a normal Trans Am round, which is 100 miles. So should be well within reach of his race car to be able to get him home and dry and no problem to victory. He's got almost a 10-second lead over Michael Lewis, but I'm wondering if his team is talking to him on the radio saying, hey, you can back it down a little. You don't have to push, set a track record every lap. Here's your leader, Eben, in the 36.
Yeah, but you get that rhythm that you're in, hitting all your apex points, hitting your break points, you have your shift points go. All of a sudden you have to start changing that up. It might get you out of rhythm. You might make a mistake, drop a couple wheels off, ultimately end your race. You can conserve a little bit, but you don't want to conserve a lot.
Eben wiggles it a little up through Thunder Valley. No pressure at all from Michael Lewis, who's second, 9.2 seconds behind. Eben can let it walk wide there in the carousel before he comes back to 13. And out onto the front stretch one more time. Should be put lap number 18 on the board. 5 to go for Cliff Eben.
No, he only lapped about a half second slower than his fastest race lap. He is still pushing, even there in the carousel. You saw the car wiggle and get loose. Comes down here in the braking zone, dips that nose for the turn into turn number 2, the keyhole here at Mid-Ohio.
Eben by himself in this 7-car field. Kenneth Davis dropping out a few laps ago after running 10 laps in the 64 car, so he'll get credit for 7th here today. Jeffrey Hinkle is 6th. Todd Peterson running 5th. McManus having to drop back to 4th now as Dave Rulo claims a potential podium spot in the 31. Leader is Eben. Lewis is 2nd. And Rulo, for the time being at least, sitting in 3rd position. The leader goes under the Honda Bridge here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
Yeah, just 5 laps to go as he comes down over that. It'll be 4 to go when he crosses the line. And like you said, with the reliability problems or issues that he's had before, he's got to hold it together here to clinch a national championship here at the SCCA Runoffs, and just to get a good chance to hear that Mustang and see. That is such a good-looking body on that car.
Interesting question, and I would have to take some time and dig back through the record book. I'll bet it's been a long time since we have had an SCCA national champion at these runoffs also win a pro racing championship at the same time.
We'll have to check the books on that to see. We got our our crash statisticians. I mean, you guys get on that really quick and see if we can get this done.
We've got a staff of dozens, here helping us out this weekend. All kidding aside, but I'll bet it's been quite a while. May never have been done before. Interesting question that just popped into my head because Eben is in line potentially to win the Trans Am title this year. We will see as he comes down the long straightaway through the kink, headed to turn 4 here in Mid-Ohio, closing in on the machine of Jeffrey Hinkle. That's that Dodge Challenger bodied car, which we believe is a TA2 style car with perhaps a bigger motor and a different tire package. We've had some TA2 cars in action in GT2 here this weekend. Aaron Quine was in line for a top 5 spot in his ECC Chevrolet earlier. There was one other TA2 car in that race as well.
Of course, Eben with 8 podiums already in SCCA Runoffs, 3 national championships, trying to see if he can make it 4 here this weekend.
Eben, Lewis, and Rouleau, 1, 2, and 3. He'll get the 3 to go sign this time by as he closes in on Hinkle in the 9. There's Rouleau, the third place runner in the 31. The 07, McManus sticking right with him. He has not given up by any means. He's got a few laps left to try to do some business here and get back onto the podium.
There's Michael Lewis. Unfortunately had that contact while he was getting past for that lead and spun the car. Recovered pretty good, but just went purple there in segment. Yeah, look at that.
Michael Lewis, yeah.
8.66, fastest lap of the race. Has dropped the gap down to 7.5 seconds, but I think you can do that all race long and still not have enough to run down Eben here at the closing stages of this race.
Eben will see 2 to go next time by as he works the backside of the course. Mike Lewis, consolation prize, I guess, to get fast lap of the day, and not a bad consolation prize. It shows that you certainly had the speed in your race car if you earn that honor.
It's all bragging rights and bench racing for Michael Lewis right now.
Yeah.
This is the fastest race lap, fastest car on the track, but only got 2nd place.
Lewis under the Honda Bridge running by himself here. GT1 field, unfortunately, only 7 cars strong when we took the green. We've had a few classes like that this weekend, but even in the classes where we haven't had a lot of entries, we've had interesting action.
Oh, it's been some of the greatest racing, and you go to the Spec Miata 46 car field, and the action was just as close as it was with a 5-car Formula Atlantic field, and never knew what was going to happen until the end. So it's been some great racing here at SCCA Runoffs.
Lewis onto the front stretch. I've been seeing 2 to go for Lewis here. I want to take a moment and thank all of our crew, the Speedcast TV crew. Clark Camburn, our executive producer, director for these telecasts these last several years. It's been a treat to work on this with Clark and our entire bunch. Jeff, it's always a pleasure to sit down and call a race with you and just talk racing in general, as we get to do several times each year. I want to, of course, thank my colleague Randy Popst, Greg Kramer, our old friend of years standing, broadcast colleague of ours, Dorsey Schrader. Great champion in his own right, as is Randy.
In GT1.
Yeah, GT1, absolutely. 89 Trans Am champion. Back when I was starting to do Trans Am TV in the late 80s, Dorsey, one of the first guys I met, and we've been buddies for a long time, and just a treat to work with this group. And, of course, that guy Wagner on pit road who's come along these last few years and become a darn good holder of microphones and interviewer of racers. In this category as well. So it's a great group of folks we get to do this with every year.
I don't know about that, Rick.
Is that going out on a limb?
I had to relieve him on pit lane this year. He couldn't even handle it. Come on. No, just kidding. Hayward Wagner, did a Pearly World Challenge race last weekend for us when both Rick and myself were there calling that race. So, yes, definitely a great staff here, and all the over 500 SCCA volunteers and workers here this weekend at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Thank you so much to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course as well, hosting the runoffs for all those years as we return back here for the 53rd running.
White flag in the air. Eben sees the white flag. Lewis will see the white here in just a moment. Cliff Eben about 2 miles away from another SCCA Runoffs championship in that Mustang, the Eben 4, the 36. And the Lammers Racing Squad in Wisconsin doing a great job with that car. Tony Ave put that car together. For Cliff, drives for that team occasionally, and doing a really, really nice job here at Mid-Ohio this weekend. I want to thank the SCCA staff, VP and Chief Operating Officer Eric Prill, who competed again and was denied again another victory in his Miata, unfortunately, this weekend. But Eric, a class act, great guy. We appreciate being able to participate with he and the whole SCCA field staff. Reese White, who's the Director of Communications and an old friend of ours, of course, as well. Just appreciate being part of this. Dennis Dean, the Chief Steward, once again this year, doing a great job along with all the SCCA workers and volunteers that spend a year really getting ready to put these runoffs on. And as we mentioned earlier, the talk of the week here has been, boy, we're getting ready for Indy next year. It's circled on everybody's calendar. Cliff Eben over the final couple of turns here at Mid-Ohio. He will put a cap on the 2016 SCCA Runoffs. Eben off the final corner. Checkered flag in the air, and Cliff Eben is your GT1 national champion, final champion of the weekend in these 2016 SCCA National Championship Runoffs.
See Michael Lewis come across the stripe for second place. And can Rulo hold off McManus for that third and final podium? He had a pretty big gap there before. Coming back 7 seconds that Rulo was able to pull away for third.
Rulo not quite to the stripe yet as Eben on the cool-down lap of the 36 car. No issues at all for that machine, and he is able to bring that car home and earn a trophy, earn a medal here as the winner of GT1 in these SCCA National Championship Runoffs. So we will hear from the winner, the top 3 finishers in GT1 in just a couple of moments as we put the cap on our coverage here in 2016 at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And very cool, we mentioned this a couple of times, very cool to come back and have these runoffs, I think, again, at Mid-Ohio. It's, this is one of the places that helped make the runoffs what they are today. Call these races here on Speed Vision and Speed Channel and TNN many times in the 80s, or in the 90s, I should say, in the 2000s on TV when we went to televising all 24 and then 26 and now 28 events over the course of 3 days. And just an honor to be part of this again this year.
That's what makes this place so special. You saw the fans up there at the top of Madness running over to the fence to salute your national champion here in GT1. I think if we could race every day here at Mid-Ohio, we'd have fans no matter what category of cars it was racing here. So great facility, great venue, great community, and great racing here this weekend.
Dave Rulo comes across the line in third, so your podium will be Eben, your winner, Lewis in second, Rulo takes home the bronze in third. Ryan McManus gets credit for fourth. Todd Peterson finishes fifth, and Jeff Hinkle in that Dodge Challenger comes home sixth. Kenneth Davis failing to finish in the 64 car. Eben on to pit road. And he will stop and pick up the checkered flag.
Looks like he's got to stop and pick up his wife first.
Well, probably so.
They're going to tell him to go ahead and go down there to see Hayward Wagner. He's waiting to interview your GT1 champion as he pulls down in.
Been finding a gear to bring that car to the first spot on pit road. And Hayward will move in and talk to Cliff Eben. Congratulations to a guy that we have come to know over these many years and really enjoy visiting with Cliff. Very gracious no matter what happens, but today a winner again in SCCA national competition. Hayward is there. Hayward Wagner. Was a great battle between Eben and Michael Lewis. In the midpoint of this race, they leaned on each other, and Eben was able to prevail and take home honors here in GT1. There's Rulo, your third-place finisher. Coming into Site X, wonder if Mike Lewis had difficulties getting the 12 car back onto pit road here. Hayward Wagner with our winner in GT1.
Cliff Eben, you got one more lap around this track, but this one's with a checkered flag. How does it feel to be an SCCA national champion?
Great. It's been a while, and everything went real smooth today, except I got a little bit got beat on the start, but got it back in the end, so everything's good.
Now, the guys in the booth talked a lot about your success in the Trans Am Series. What's special about the runoffs that brought you back here again this year?
Well, it's nice to get a national championship, and Mike Lewis is one of the better drivers, and it's always nice to run with them. So, yeah, it was fun.
Well, congratulations to you on a championship drive here at Mid-Ohio.
Thank you.
Cliff Eben about to take his victory lap here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio. Your GT1 national champion. He's about to receive his gold medal for finishing in the #1 position in the final race of the weekend.
Well, I like how he says it's been a little while. When you're a true racer, I guess 2013 for your last national championship, he's got 4 of them now, has been a little while. When you're impatient like that, I guess 3 years when there's folks that don't even have one yet. Talk about being impatient, but Cliff Eben, just a superb drive here this weekend.
Dave Rulo in the 31 finishes in third position. He gets the bronze medal, and Hayward is there.
Well, Dave, a lot of folks say that the happiest guy on the podium is in third because you just barely made it. How was that race for you?
Oh, it's a great time out there. Ryan and I had some great racing. Car started to get a little loose at the end, so I'm glad it held on. And I want to thank my crew and family and Goodyear and everybody that helps us out. So thank you.
Well, big congratulations to you here on a third-place podium at the Runoffs.
Okay, thank you.
So Dave Rulo takes home third in that 31 car. Good run for him today. Not quite on pace with the leaders, but certainly, look, to complete one of these races cleanly and to get on the podium is quite an accomplishment here.
Yeah, it really is. And like you said, some guys will work their entire career to get on a podium, let alone a national championship, and be able to do that. But, of course, Cliff Eben picking up his 4th national championship.
So Eben takes the checkered flag around on his victory lap. See the 12 car down there on pit road. Hayward's going to walk down and see if Mike Lewis would want to talk to us here about what happened as he was battling with Cliff Eben for the lead and the championship here in GT1. Lewis, the defending champ, has won a couple of these prizes as well. Hayward ready to talk to our runner-up finisher.
Mike Lewis, you had a great start, and it looked like they're on the backside of the course. You and Cliff got together a little bit, and that's changed the race for you.
Yeah, it's a shame. Looks like we were running pretty similar lap times. I was stronger in places. He was stronger in places. He was able to get up next to me. I gave him room going in. I thought there was plenty of room for both of us on the way out, but I think it's one of those racing deals, so hats off. But I'll have to see the tape. But, you know, he ran a good race. I can't argue with that. So,
well, congratulations to you on a silver here at the Runoffs.
Thank you.
Michael Lewis disappointed, you can tell, with his Jaguar, but second place, very gracious to the champion, Cliff Eben. We'll take a look at your GT1 finish. Eben, your winner. Lewis and Rulo, the top 3. McManus had third for quite a while before he went wide up in the keyhole. Peterson and Hinkle, Kenneth Davis, Mark Bowden failing to answer the call in one of the fall line cars. But, you know, if you're Ryan McManus, close but no cigar.
Yeah, he ran up there, did our Garmin Verb lap, so got a little bit of publicity out of that. And want to give a huge thank you to Garmin Verb for doing that. And McManus still 4th. There's always next year.
Absolutely the case. Take a look back at your GT1 National Championship. Lewis got the drop on Eben early and led the first dozen or so laps. Eben put a tire off there. Little action a little further back. Hinkle here and Peterson coming together, but Peterson able to get through and pick up a top 5 spot when the checkered flag fell. As we watch the battle for the lead, Lewis and Eben fighting hard here, and then the contact coming up through Thunder Valley. Lewis goes around, Eben scoots off to victory. The door open for Rulo to grab 3rd position over Ryan McManus. Eben, your national champion. For Jeff Lepper, Hayward Wagner, Randy Popes, Greg Creamer, I'm Rick Benjamin. Thanks for watching the SCCA Runoffs. See you next year.